This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
By the way, so Rosenhaus says Ogbah is not going to get the franchise tag, which, this has kind of been, the MO for Chris Grier. He's not really going to easily cave in on deals. He's kind of been very deliberate about all this stuff. Okay? And so you look at this situation, there's no doubt in my mind that Rosenhaus and company came in with a high number. So you've got to play this game now. And I understand the Dolphins playing this game completely. You can't also go out there and overpay to the point. He's not getting 14 sacks a year or something like that. He's not like this elite pass rusher. He's been a very good pass rusher the last 2 years. And he's done an exceptional job, especially this year, of batting balls. He became an absolute monster with that. So he's a very valuable player. Now, he's been playing for a contract. And he was an underachiever up until these last 2 years, right? So the question is, what is it about the Dolphins that didn't convince him to go all the way with him and give him the deal is the question. And has to be money right now. And it has to be that they feel that they're going to be able to get other options out there. Now, we talked about this last week. I think it's really important to bring back Ogbah. But I also have to give them the benefit of the doubt because they must feel like they have some kind of an option or some kind of a play. I saw Mike Gesicki heading on his honeymoon and he's wearing a Dolphins hat. So, and he's been so positive about the Dolphins. And I wonder in the building what they've told him because he's not going to get tagged either. But you just wonder, are there some talks? Is there some progress being made? Now, on the Ogbah side, it doesn't look like the progress was made to the point that, okay, it looks maybe like, okay, he might end up coming back. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We have no idea. Maybe Ogbah and Rosenhaus think that there's a specific market out there, and Rosenhaus found out during the combine he's got this market for the guy, so maybe they're going to exercise it. Or they're not sure, but they've got to play the hardball line to try to make it look that way. These are all the unknowns. None of us know. We don't know what the other 30 teams are thinking of, because I doubt Kansas City is going to bring him back. But we don't know what the other 30 teams are thinking of about Emmanuel Ogbah. We don't know what those 30 general managers and head coaches think and defensive coordinators and which ones think that he fits or not and really are going to go after him. So we cannot overreact, because I had a couple people on DM like, oh man, we should be tagging him at least. And I'm sure they don't want the cap tied to hard cap numbers. They want to keep having flexibility. That's kind of the idea. That's why even the first 3 years, they've maintained cap flexibility after they've cleaned up the cap. So if you've noticed, they don't really want to get to the point where they bog down on the cap and then they've got to then start using money from the future and bringing it, to the present. And then that shortens your future because that gives you less space, and you keep playing that credit card game, and at one point or another, it's going to catch up to you, like it has with the Dolphins several times over the years. So the question is, instead of tying yourself up to these hardline numbers when you tag somebody, I think they want to stay flexible. So that way, if they've got to make moves down the line and if things happen, they're able to move contracts without major penalties, without major setbacks, like what they inherited after the Indomicon Sue mess and all the other contracts that after you cut Sue, you were paying, I believe it was 9 million one year and 13 million the other of dead cap money. Like it was crazy numbers. So Ogbah obviously is one of those dudes that you want back, but it's kind of like a borderline thing because you got to really think about this. As much as I like him, as much as you like him, we have to table our enthusiasm, our emotions for Ogbah and say, okay, if they're asking for 17, 18, 20 million dollars, if they're asking for high end 21, 22 million for a defense, I don't know what they're asking for, but they've got to be asking for a lot if they're headed into free agency. And if Rosenhaus is going to come out and say, yeah, my guy's not going to get tagged, so then there is some kind of a difference, right? They're not close. Because if they were close, you'd probably hear, yeah, we don't expect to get tagged, but, conversations are ongoing with the Dolphins. We're having great conversations. We're getting close on it. You didn't hear any of those kind of things. So that tells me that what Rosenhaus and Ogbah think of themselves is a lot higher than what the Dolphins are willing to go. So then the question is, what do you what is plan B for the Miami Dolphins? What is plan C? Is it free agency? Is it the draft? Are they trying to find themselves? Have they targeted another Ogbah? Have they targeted another young player that has underachieved at defensive end and they think they can maximize more out of what they're doing like they did with Emmanuel Ogbah? I don't know. It's a great question. Is DeMarcus Lawrence getting cut from the Dallas Cowboys? Is that a guy they want instead? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what the plan is. I'd love well, I mean, if I would like to if I knew the plan, I'd love to tell you like in a group where we all like keep it as a secret so we can keep it away from everybody else. Because you really don't want to tell their plans to everybody else either, because we are rooting for the Dolphins. We do want them to win. No, but all kidding aside, we don't know. We don't know what the plan is. And so that's why we can't overreact on it one way or the other. Let's wait because maybe there's a lot of posturing going on and Ogbah ends up here. Maybe Miami feels they could get somebody better and they do. Maybe they feel they can get somebody that they can get the same kind of production, but a lot less money. And maybe they do. And then maybe the, the one thing we don't want to see, they fail in replacing Ogbah, and it puts all the pressure on Jalen Phillips. Now, that, my friends, would be really, really bad. That's where in the end, we just can't say, what's going to happen with Emmanuel Ogbah. Will he stay? Will he sign somewhere else? Will he be offered so much money that you just could not give him that kind of cash? And hey, listen, Rosenhaus he may have a deal pretty much the parameters of a deal already in place with another team and says, "Hey man, we're going to we'll give you 21 million." And so they came into the Dolphins meeting and say, "Hey, we want 21 million. We think we have a market for him out there." And then that's when Chris Greer says, "All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you for everything, but we just can't go that high." And now Drew Rosenhaus will send Emmanuel Ogbah to some place for $21 million because he already knew. I don't know. Is Drew Rosenhaus taking the gamble, or is he just moving his player to a place that he already knows the end result here coming off the combine? Because that's where you see a lot of stuff happen. A lot of stuff is being discussed. ideas, players, contracts, trades, extensions, cuts, uh, what's it called? Trimming of salaries. All kinds of different scenarios are going on in the combine. So we will find out. Just don't overreact on the Ogbah thing until we really find out how they replaced him or if he ends up coming back.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.